only for the enjoyment of absolutely beautiful lives, and no soul in hell has been wronged. Do you think that you are in your current situation because you have been wronged? Hasn't everything been created by yourself? Reality is the projection of one's own consciousness. If there is something wrong, the problem lies in your own consciousness. Sometimes it is easy for us to blame the government and the leaders for all of our problems. In fact, the root cause is still our own. It will take a long speech to explore this truth, so I will just end it here. I'm conducting an experiment of copying the thousand-year world of the kingdom of heaven in the human world. This experiment has been going on for 11 years. The Chanyuan celestials who have participated in the experiment can testify what are the results of being oneself and abandoning oneself. All those who have insisted on being themselves have left, and those who have abandoned themselves have stayed. If what Xiefeng has said is not right, then what the God, Buddha, and Celestial has said must be right. 成为你自己的提法是无稽之谈. The idea of be yourself is nonsense. Xiefeng, March 23, 2021. Translated by Qinyu, edited by Peter, there are a lot of expressions of be yourself on the internet and in WeChat groups, which means not to compare yourself with others, not to listen to others' opinions about yourself, and not to imitate others, but to live as who you are and live your life yourself. The thought is good, and the purpose is right, but it's an unattainable aspiration. First, you is difficult to determine. This is an ambiguous concept that can neither be quantified nor clearly defined. Who am I? Where did I come from? Where will I go? Without solving these three problems, how can I find myself? From the perspective of reincarnation, some people may be reincarnated from pigs. Being yourself and be yourself means continuing to live as a pig. Some people may be reincarnated from rats, and being yourself means to be a rat. So, where are you from? Being yourself means go back to where you came from. People are the products of society, and social changes will lead to changes in people. For example, with communication, people used to send letters delivered by people or delivered on horseback. Later, it was conducted by the post office and then by telephone. Today, communication depends on the internet, WeChat, and video channels. I wonder what kind of communication does become yourself use? Can you not change with the changes in society? How can you be yourself? People are malleable and flexible. No one knows what kind of person he will become in his lifetime. Ask the prisoners in a prison if they had planned to be prisoners before they were imprisoned. Ask Hitler if he had made the choice to become the culprit of World War II. Are they trying to be themselves? Or haven't they become themselves? Being yourself has a terrible consequence, that is, to isolate oneself from society, to live in the state of beauty that you have imagined, entertaining yourself without knowing that danger is approaching you, to feel that you have become a Buddha or a celestial, indulging in self-intoxication and self-delusion, but the actual situation is that you have been abandoned by society. The reality is, I cannot become myself. I must abide by the laws that control society. I must abide by the current social operating rules. I can't lose my temper and kill people if I wish to. I must compromise when I should, retreat when it's time to retreat. I cannot just go my own way. I cannot help but consider the feelings of people around me. If people around me hate me, and I still stubbornly choose to be myself, then am I a granite-headed walking dead? Other things that cannot be quantified and clearly defined are conscience, mind, self-nature, love, and so on. These are deceptive concepts, such as conscience. Who can quantify and define conscience? Who knows whether someone's conscience is red or black? The best way is not to talk about good or bad conscience, but deal with each other in accordance with the contractual relationship. For example, with self-nature. What is self-nature? In the so-called perfect self-nature, all things are the manifestation of our nature. These all cannot be quantified and clearly defined. How do we perfect our nature? Can our nature produce 10,000 kinds of dharma or not? If yes, please show it to everyone. Another example is love. Originally, love is just a state of life. Once love is spoken from the mouth, it is no longer love. When you say, I love you, how do you love? Is it that you will give me $10 million or a bouquet of roses? Or will you wash my feet? Or cook me a potato to eat? Words that sound beautiful may just be deceptive tricks. In Western society, there is no Buddhism, no Wang Yangming, no Rinpoche, no Karmapa, but there are many Nobel Prize winners. It is easy to be a master in the East, but it is not easy to be a Nobel Prize winner, because the former can play with concepts. Whoever plays with the concept well enough can be a master, but the latter must be rigorous, meticulous, and must work hard. Being yourself can go to hell. Abandoning yourself is the correct path. We welcome the birth of craftsmen, scientists, sages, and people who are unselfish and selfless to work for the happiness of the working people. 冲突发生在野蛮与野蛮、野蛮与文明之间. Conflicts occur between barbarism and between barbarism and civilization. Xiefeng, March 23, 2021. Translated by Qinyu, edited by Peter. Conflicts will occur between barbarism and between barbarism and civilization, but no conflicts will occur between civilization and civilization. If we see two people, two tribes, two ethnic groups, or two countries fighting, there is no doubt that either both are barbaric, or one is barbaric and the other is civilized, but there will never be a conflict between two civilizations. If the fight between the two parties is extremely brutal, it must be a conflict between two groups of barbarians. If the fighting between the two parties is not so cruel and sometimes a compromise is made, and occasionally there is a truce, but overall, the fighting always continues, it must be a conflict between barbarism and civilization. Where there is conflict, there must be barbarism. The so-called barbarian is not keeping promises, not following rules, not fulfilling a contract, always wanting to take advantage of the other party, always wanting to control the other party, and always wanting to take the other party's possessions as his own. If there was a conflict between two people, and each believed that he was right, but in terms of the nature of the conflict, either the two people were both barbarians, or one of them must be a barbarian, it is impossible for both of them to be civilized. From this, we can draw the conclusion that those who often clash with other people must be barbarians, and are definitely not civilized people. Generally speaking, it is the barbarian who acts unjustly and forcefully in a conflict. The more one is good at compromising and self-reflecting, the more civilized they must be. There is a special phenomenon that when two or more barbarians encounter civilization, in order to deal with civilization together, the barbarians will temporarily unite and confront the civilization as allies. At this time, there will be peace between the two barbarians. They will not be in conflict with each other. But when their common enemy disappears, the temporary peace between the two barbarians will be broken, and mutual conflict will definitely occur between them again. This fact is determined by the nature of barbarism. 人与人之间冷酷一点好不好? Would it be good if people could treat each other a way that is more uncaring? Xiefeng, March 22, 2021. Translated by Qinyu, edited by Peter. Undoubtedly, people like to be warm, concerning, caring, soothing, comforting, supporting each other, and jointly resisting their misfortunes and tribulations on the journey of life. After experiencing the ups and downs of life, I found that people spend too much time and energy in taking care of emotions between people in their lives. Therefore, I will offer an unconventional way of thinking. What if people would treat each other in a way that is a little less caring? In the animal world, in order to survive, all birds are uncaring. Once they hatch and feed their children to the stage where they are foraging on their own, the adult bird decisively implements an uncaring policy on the children. They pull out and expel the children from the nest and let them look for food and survive in nature. It is almost the same for mammals. As soon as they can find food for themselves, parents generally do not care very much for their offspring. Humans are different from animals. People care for each other. Even when parents are very old, they still want to find ways to care for and look after their children. It was reported that there is a mother whose son obtained a doctorate degree in the United States. After the son's returning to China, he did not look for a job. Instead, he stayed at home and played games all day even when he reached his 40s. All his living expenses depended on his mother, who was in her 70s and suffered from poor health. Most parents have this experience. In their children's childhood, when their children are upset, rolling around and crying on the ground, the parents will try to persuade their children to be happy. Especially the grandparents, who may love their grandchildren more, will try by every means to make them happy. In fact, Husbands and wives will consider each other's emotions even more. When one is unhappy, the other has to try to persuade the other to be happy. From the beginning of a romantic relationship through marriage and into old age, couples spend an enormous amount of time and energy caring for each other emotionally. To maintain a good functioning of the relationship between people, one must take care of the other's emotions. Even if they make trouble unreasonably, the other one must also take care of their emotions. The problem is that people are imperfect and there will always be emotional outbursts. The price people pay for taking care of emotions is huge. Is it okay to be less caring with people? For example, when a child rolls on the ground and cries, not only do you not persuade him to behave himself and instead, you give him 2 slaps on his bottom, what will happen? I do not think he will roll around and cry anymore. For example, after having raised your child to 18 years of age, you then let him find his own means of livelihood. Even if he goes to college, let him find a way to pay the tuition fee on his own. In this way, the child will become a person with a strong ability to survive independently in the future. As for buying a house and getting married, it all should depend on the child's own ability to pay for it, and parents should no longer have to worry about how to pay for them. For example, what if between husband and wife, once the wife cries, makes trouble and threatens to hang herself, the husband scolds, beats, and threatens to kill her? Good grief! Do not give in and do not consider her emotions. In this way, the relationship may become more harmonious, beautiful, and healthier. Let the strong live beautifully, and let the weak linger out a feeble existence. This is in line with the laws of nature. Here is one point. People who are unable to work, such as the elderly and disabled, need to be taken care of by the strong. As long as they have the ability to work, they on no account should be taken care of. If you have the ability to work, why should others take care of you? I am not interested in charity and relief services. Human beings should encourage the strong to do something more substantial. People should follow the strong. In international relations, unite with the strong countries. As for weak and poor countries, best to let them die. In Xiefeng-style communism, I emphasize dictatorship and Superman philosophy and deny democratic mechanisms. Whoever is strong can take charge. Whoever contributes the most can be the leader. Whoever has the greatest ability can be the leader. Whoever can be selfless can be the leader. Isn't this fair and just? In Xiefeng-style communism, all people must participate in labor, and whoever does not work, throw them out. Whoever is lazy, throw them out. Whoever is always in a bad mood and disgruntled, throw them out. Whoever bullies people, throw them out. Everyone must be of value, must create value, and if they have no value, throw them out. In Xiefeng-style communism, the most annoying people are those who talk a lot and do nothing, and those who give advice. And the most favored people are those who say, I will take care of it. Do not offer help if someone does not ask for it. This is one of the values of Lai Fuqianyuan. Isn't it uncaring? Is this correct? I do not know. Only practice and time can prove it and give the answer. 好无止境坏无底线. There are no limits to goodness and badness. Xiefeng, March 18, 2021. Translated by Qin Yu. Edited by Peter. What is the highest state of goodness? Answer. There is no highest state for goodness. It has no limit. What is the lowest state of badness? Answer. Badness has no lowest state. It has no limit. Due to the needs of entertaining guests, I have grapes available for 365 days a year. American, Canadian, and Brazilian grapes are all available. Red, purple, black, and green grapes are all available. Large, small, round, and long grapes are all available. I have tried all kinds of sour, sweet, and sweet, and astringent grapes and have gotten the impression that these are all of the grapes that exist in the world. However, on March 10, 2021, I got to eat a different kind of grape, which is Mexican, green, big, seedless, with thin skin, sweet, and very moist. I never thought that there were such high-quality grapes in the world. Do not mention streams to him who has seen a great ocean. The clouds that circle Wu's peak are the only clouds for him. After eating this kind of Mexican grape, I am afraid that no other grapes in the world will be as appealing to my mouth anymore. But wait a moment. Goodness has no limit. There may be grapes that are better than these Mexican grapes on the earth, and if not on the earth, they must be in the 1,000-year world and the 10,000 world. With the changes of time, space, and climate, grapes better than Mexican grapes may be discovered one day. In 1988, I was a teacher in a middle school. Once, the principal held a dinner and asked each teacher to bring 2 dishes so that we could taste the cooking of each teacher. When I tasted a teacher Kai's dishes, which were extremely unpalatable, considering teacher Kai's face and dignity, I held my breath and swallowed them. 30 years have passed. This scene and the unpalatable dishes at that time are still vivid in my eyes. How could people make such unpalatable dishes? Is there any food in the world that tastes worse than teacher Kai's dishes? It's definite, because badness has no bottom line. I know from the Mexican grapes that there are better spaces in the universe, and they must be more beautiful than the most beautiful place on Earth. There must be species that are absolutely beautiful in life. Where are they? These absolutely beautiful things must be waiting to be enjoyed by absolutely beautiful lives. When our own quality becomes more and more beautiful, we will certainly encounter an absolutely beautiful time and space and an absolutely beautiful life. Goodness has no limit, and there must be absolute beauty above perfection. I have no doubt about this. From this, we can infer how precious life is. Imagining an absolutely beautiful time and space makes one so excited. As long as we continuously improve and perfect the quality of our own lives, all the good things will appear on the journey of our life. From teacher Kai's dishes, we know that there is a kind of badness in this world that is unimaginable, such as poisonous steamed buns, poisonous fruits, poisonous vegetables. Badness has no limit. There are many things worse than toxic food, like cutting off a man's limbs and drowning him in a wine jar with only his head exposed and slowly torturing him to death. There is no limit for bad things. Knowing that badness has no limit, we should be cautious on the journey of our lives, cherish our time, and run towards the light every day. Otherwise, once we fall into the mud of badness, the sea of bitterness is boundless. Goodness has no limit. Let's constantly trek and climb toward the new oasis for life, the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the Elysium Celestial Islands continent. 看看你是否正走在前往天国的路上. Check and see if you are on the way to heaven. Xiefeng, February 1st, 2021. Translated by Qinyu, edited by Peter. I clearly remember an evening in the summer of 1963. At that time, there were no newspapers, no radios, and of course no TVs and mobile phones. People's knowledge was passed on through chatting. At that time, every evening after dinner, the adults gathered together to brag and chat. The children either sat or stood quietly listening to the adults bragging, or just ran around and played. The reason why I can clearly remember that evening is because an uncle said, "When it is noontime where we are, it is midnight in some places. When it is summer where we are, it is winter in some places." I remember that everyone burst into laughter and said that uncle is whimsical and what he is saying is nonsense. In the thinking of people in the countryside at that time, as long as where I am is daytime, everywhere is daytime, and as long as what I feel is summer, it is summer everywhere else on earth. Then, when I say that there is a heaven in the universe, and that heavens are different everywhere, would you say that I am whimsical and talking nonsense? Do you think that heaven is the same as on earth? If I say that there is no sun and no night in the 1,000-year world of heaven, and the sun in the 10,000-year world of heaven is always fixed in the same place, and everything in the Elysium Celestial Islands continent is created by transformation, do you think I am out of my mind? People's understanding of the great world is based on their own limited cognition, and to understand the infinite world with limited cognition is like a blind man trying to figure out what an elephant is by just touching one part of it. The first time I went abroad was to Zimbabwe, Africa, where I felt the beauty of heaven for the first time. On the third day in Zimbabwe, I secretly made up my mind that I would never leave Zimbabwe again. I stayed there for 17 years. What I want to say is that there is an infinitely beautiful place in this universe that no one can imagine, and that is heaven. Now, please check if you are on your way to heaven. There are 3 steps to see if you have crossed the path to heaven. The first step, you often yearn for distance. You feel that there are respectable, amiable, and lovable people in the distance, and there are endless beautiful sceneries in the distance. You love life, but you feel that you are a little out of place with the environment that you are in. You are busy every day for your survival, But deep in your heart, you do not like, even hate this kind of rushing. Inside, you do not like to work for money, power, status, and reputation. You just want to be happy, joyous, free, and blessed in life. You hate to see people controlling other people, hate being swayed and controlled by people and your environment. You hope that one day there will be a great person in your life who will take you far away, to a place you have missed very much. When you have these thoughts and feelings, you are actually on the way to heaven. The second step. You do not want to get married. You instinctively hate family life. You want to escape from marriage and family life. From the people you know before your eyes, you do not want to fight for the few people in front of you. You are crying inside. You feel very tired. You are eagerly looking for another way and channel out for yourself through the internet and WeChat and other media. You do not want to foster secular ties with anyone anymore. You like light association with people instead of deep ones. But in your heart, you are willing to meet a beloved one to whom you can deliver your whole body and soul. You are struggling between ideals and reality, hoping to end your current life trajectory and to immediately step into another unfamiliar field that is completely different from that of your past, the field that you have been waiting for a long time. When you think, feel, and work toward your ideal direction and goal, you are already on the way to heaven. The third step. You have completely stepped out the maze of affection. You are working hard to end your secular ties. You are actively and optimistically accumulating mental and spiritual wealth. You are pulling out the jealousy, comparison, complaining, anger, and other weeds and toxic weeds from your soul garden. You start to feel only the messages that make you happy. You are gradually moving away from the concepts and shackles of country, nation, political party, religion, and family and are looking for people who resonate with your own wishes. Happiness, joy, freedom, and blessedness have become the norm in your daily life. You will never hurt anyone, any life, and the natural environment. You are especially eager to integrate into the idyllic life of nature as soon as possible, to live a life of working and resting as the sun rises and sets, where no one pockets anything found on the ground and doors are not bolted at night. All these phenomena show that you are on your way to heaven. Whether or not you can go to heaven has nothing to do with your diploma, wisdom, status, wealth, appearance, reputation, whether you have read the scriptures or chanted sutras, whether you have formally acknowledged someone as your master and met many masters and capable persons, and has nothing to do with whether you are talkative and eloquent, has nothing to do with how many good deeds you have done in the past. It is only related to your nature of Tathagata and is closely related to your state of mind. May the wise men who are walking on the road to heaven not hesitate and not stop in their steps. As long as they are sincere and continue to trek and climb, they will be able to achieve their dreams and realize their ideals to reach heaven. 事实是最好的审判官. Facts are the best judges. Xiefeng, January 27th, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. No matter how charming, how beautiful, or how extravagantly colorful your words may be, they are worthless. Let them be confirmed by facts. Any theory or preaching that is not supported by facts is not credible. Any conclusive discourse that cannot be verified by facts is the resorting to sophistry and is irrational. Theories that have been proven to be unworkable, including those in the so-called classics, have all been fabricated. All theories and discourses that have not been verified by facts are falsehoods and should be dismissed. If in the face of facts, you still resort to sophistry, try to cover them up in every possible way, try to find all kinds of excuses, and argue with others about them, it can surely be said that you are unreasonable. We cannot prove the rationality and correctness of one theory using another theory, just as a lie cannot prove itself not a lie by still another lie. The only way to prove its rationality and correctness is to show the facts. If the facts cannot prove that you are right, then all your theories and preaching are false. If you say that you can grow a 200-kilogram Chinese cabbage, well, do it and show us your 200-kilogram Chinese cabbage. If you say that you are a Buddhist master, okay, first, educate a Buddha and let us see the result. If you say that you are a master of traditional Chinese culture and are proficient in traditional culture, okay, please let us see the facts about your respect for your parents, harmony between you and your wife, harmony in your neighborhood, and the filial piety in your children. It's easy to speak big and beautiful words, but they only count when you can put them into practice. Otherwise, they are only catchphrases and are all a form of self-deception. To verify whether a person has real talents, real connotation, and whether he lives up to his words, we should not listen to what he says, but we should see what he is doing and what he has done. Facts are the best judges. To verify whether a set of theories and a doctrine are reasonable, legal, and will conform to human nature, we can only let the facts speak for themselves, because facts are the best judges. If there are no facts, they are just nonsense. Respecting facts is the basic morality of a human being. 观世间百态明天国之路. Observe the human natures of the world and understand the way to heaven. Xiefeng, November 14, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. I have traveled 20 years on the path of life Changyuan, the way of the greatest creator. Looking back, I feel more and more that I have chosen the right path. This path is the way to heaven. Other than that, I haven't seen any other way that is simpler, easier, clearer, and more direct. The most direct evidence is that more than 70 Changyuan celestials have become celestial beings. Among them, there are 3 families. 8 out of 10 members of one family have become celestial beings, a family of 5 have all become celestial beings, and a family of 3 have all become celestial beings. Old people can enjoy their twilight years, the children can grow up healthily and are all outstanding, and I have to admire the magic and ingenuity of this path. With 20 changings of the seasons, I have thoroughly and clearly seen through the world, the shortcomings of Western and Eastern civilizations, the state of life and the confusion of everyone, and the root cause of the suffering of human beings and its effect on everyone. Looking at this magnificent picture of history in the world, I thus understand the limitations and helplessness of Jesus, Shakyamuni, Lao Tzu, Muhammad, and the saints and sages of the past. I also understand the confusion and defects of capitalism and socialism. The most valuable thing is that I understand that the presidents of various countries are not celestial beings, but mortals, and that the philosophers, scientists, professors, experts, artists, celebrities, rich men, and masters that appeared in the world are also in confusion. They are also living their lives in a muddle-headed way. The most interesting thing is to look at the lives of the toiling people, which are pathetic, sad, pitiful, and regrettable. The more stubborn that people are, the more they do not understand the truth and reason. The more stubborn that people are, the more miserable they are. There is another interesting phenomenon. The more people like reasoning with others, the more they do not understand the truth. Fall into a pit of one's own digging seems to be very suitable for people who like reasoning. People who pursue the extraordinary and enjoy being ordinary are very pitiful. People who pursue the extraordinary seem to stand and shout in the wind, a bit like a madman does, while people who indulge in the ordinary are a bit like pigs reared in a pigsty, they just know no other way. Those who truly understand the truth of the world are those who have returned from the extraordinary to the ordinary, and they are the ones who enjoy life. The ordinary that has never been extraordinary is mediocre, and extraordinary that has not returned to the ordinary is impetuous. The plot of the world will never be played out according to any individual subjective will. Presidents cannot do it, sages cannot do it, and the general public cannot do it. That is how the Tao is running. All conditioned dharmas will be in vain like bubbles. Only those who know that it will rain tomorrow and go out with umbrellas are those who know the plot in their hearts. And those who know the plot and give guidance to others are the enlightened masters of the world. As a human, no matter what you say or do, you will attend to one thing and lose another. Life without an ultimate goal is a life of confusion. No matter how great and brilliant one feels, it is a life of clouds, a life of contradictions, and a life of misery, because when death comes, you will feel sad because of fear and helplessness. Without a frame of reference and a reference object as the benchmark of self-improvement and self-refinement, people will be at a loss. All people's words and deeds will be a form of blundering. When the sun comes out, they will be happy for a while, and when the sun goes down, they will be lost for a while, and they cannot achieve long-lasting tranquility, joy, and peace of mind. A truth needs to be revealed, That is, the more one is ordinary and lacks material wealth, the easier it is for him to become celestial. And the more knowledgeable, capable, and materially rich one is, the more difficult it will be for him to become celestial. This is probably also the reflection of the justness and fairness of the universe's balance mechanism. That is, if you have obtained the benefits of this shore, you will no longer have your welfare on the other shore. A tiger cannot grow wings on its back. With the blessings of the world, you can no longer look forward to the happiness of heaven. According to the practice of life genuine, what Christ Jesus says is true. Happy are you who are poor. Happy are you who are in need of food now. Happy are you who are weeping now. Those who have become celestials in life genuine were all once poor, hungry, and weeping people, while those who are wealthy, full of food, and laughing did not become celestials. It turns out that the greatest creator has been protecting his disadvantaged people. From the laws of the world, people are right no matter what they say and do, and there is no one who is wrong. From the perspective of the law of sublimation of life, people are wrong no matter what they say or do, and there are few people who are right. The chicken soup for the soul is delicious, but it is mostly made of the insight of people with elusive thinking. If you drink too much, you will be drunk and fall into the dust. 与我交往，不要诉说你的烦恼痛苦. When associating with me, do not tell me about your troubles and your pain. Xiefeng, November 18, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Peter. I follow the philosophy of the Superman. This world should be given to those who work hard without fear of hardships, but are always optimistic and romantic. People who talk about their misfortunes and worries all day long should withdraw from the historical stage of this world. Passive, negative, pessimistic people radiate negative energy, and it is too exhausting to associate with people who are full of negative energy. I do not owe you anything, so why should I bear your misfortune and pain? When surviving and living in this era of the world, which one of us is free from troubles and pains? It is just that the strong bury their worries and pains deeply in their hearts as nourishment and motivation to forge ahead. Only the weak talk about their worries and pains all day long and treat others as their emotional trash cans into which they dump the trash that is in their minds. With people who often tell others about their misfortunes and pains, their energy level is below 200, which is a kind of pathological psychology. Not only can they not live out their own lives, but they will also pollute the spirits and souls of others. As the messenger of the greatest creator, the incarnation of gods, Buddhas, and celestials, I, Xiefeng, came to the world to look for healthy people, not to look for sick people, not referring to physical diseases, but to spiritual diseases, let alone to cure people. I harvest ripe crops. Ripe crops are full and flawless. Do not think that I am here to help people in distress. Some people say Xiefeng is a Ziwei saint. That's only your wishful thinking. I won't do a stupid thing like that. I do not even have enough time to flirt with and seduce my sisters-in-law. So how can I have time to take care of your mess? Do not pretend to be pitiful in front of me so that I can feel pity for you. If you help yourself, I will help you. If you want to destroy yourself, I will help to destroy you. To whoever wants to hang himself, I will secretly prepare a rope for you to hang yourself with, and then you cannot live out a life of sunshine and color. If you want sunshine, I will give you light. If you want darkness, your wish will be fulfilled. In addition, I hope netizens do not give me advice, do not try to point out the right way to me, and do not insult my IQ. I follow the concept of do not offer help if someone does not ask for it. If I didn't ask you, do not help me. Of course, if you think your EQ, IQ, and SQ, spiritual quotient, are higher than mine, then teach me. But once you start teaching me, I'm going to ask you 100,000 questions, and if you cannot answer them, then shut up early in the conversation. Either follow me or go your own way. If you follow me, then do exactly what I say. Xiefeng will never collaborate with anyone, let alone ask anyone to teach me how to walk and how to handle my affairs. Oh people, live out your life of sunshine and colors. In this way, you will benefit endlessly and add a bright splendor to society. That is the correct way of living. 成就别人才能成就自己. You can only fulfill your mission in life by helping others. Xiefeng, December 4, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Peter. When flour is made into steamed buns, its mission has been accomplished. When the fruit of the tree is ripe, its mission has been accomplished. When people say farewell to the world with no regrets in the end, their missions in their lives have been accomplished. When a person is sublimated into an immortal or Buddha, his mission in life has been accomplished. When a person dies, no matter what his status has been, rich or poor, famous or wise, if he still has concerns, remorse, resentment, regret, nostalgia, and fear, it proves that his mission in life has not yet been accomplished. On the contrary, if his life is fulfilled, his mission has been accomplished. The process of helping others is actually the fulfilling of yourself. The more you help others, the greater your achievements will be. The more a person serves others, the greater his achievements will be. The reason why Jesus and Sakyamuni became God and Buddha is because of the great number of individuals that they served. Of all the services, the number of beneficiaries of formless almsgiving is the widest and most extensive, so those who give formless alms have achieved the most. Whether I, Xiefeng, can achieve my mission in life or not in the end depends entirely on what Chanyuan Celestials can achieve or what they can't. If Chanyuan Celestials achieve much, I will definitely have achieved much. The more Chanyuan Celestials achieve, the greater my achievements will be. If Chanyuan Celestials cannot achieve anything, then Xiefeng is just a bunch of stinky shit, nothing more. So, what I will achieve in life will be by helping Chanyuan Celestials in fulfilling themselves. The recent phenomenon of Great Freedom, Transformation of Lotus, network name, has fully proved this point. To help others is to fulfill themselves. Great Freedom, Transformation of Lotus not only forwarded and disseminated a great amount of Life-Genuine content in many WeChat groups, but also wrote articles explaining the values of Life-Genuine and the essence of Xiefeng. By this, she is helping others. As a result, the reputation of Lotus Celestial herself is getting better and better. At least more than 100 Chanyuan Celestials are full of praise for her. Think about it, many people can only receive praise from a few others, while Lotus Celestial has been praised by more than 100 people in a short period of time, which is not a small achievement. If it is not for helping others, how can she receive praise from them? If you do not help others, who will help you? I have been in contact with many people. Take WeChat group netizens as an example. Most of them add me on WeChat just to promote themselves, to absorb the nourishment of others, but they never want to pay even a little. Not to mention forwarding Chanyuan articles, they are not even willing to pay me by clicking a like. It shows how stingy and selfish they are. So how can they make any achievements? Some netizens really have profound wisdom and understand a lot of truths, but they do not understand the truth that they cannot achieve anything themselves unless they help others. As time goes by, they will completely be submerged in the long river of history, and everything they did will have been pointless. From this, we know that the more selfish we are, the less we will accomplish ourselves, and the more selfless we are, the more we will accomplish ourselves. No matter how much and how profound is truth that we have understood, if you do not put it into your own actions, it will only be a fleeting cloud. No one will trust a man who talks a lot without any actions, or if his actions are inconsistent with what he says. In today's world, as far as the group is concerned, Chanyuan Celestials are persons who understand truth the most. Just think about it. After suffering so many devastating blows for over 10 years, Chanyuan Celestials are still full of confidence and are optimistic, romantic, and keep on building new homes, playing and laughing, moving on together happily. Why? This is only because Chanyuan Celestials are all selfless and unselfish people who want to help others and fulfill the cause of Life-Genuine. Chanyuan Celestials only want to give and dedicate, never care about personal gains and losses, and never think of themselves. What is the result? Of course, their lives have all been fulfilled. I said the above just to point out a bright way ahead for those who are predestined. If you want to fulfill yourself, then go all out to help others. Otherwise, everything you do, and you yourself, will come to nothing. 女子如何征服大丈夫? How a woman will conquer a real man. Xiefeng. January 1st, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. We know that a real man does not bully weak women. This is a real man's weakness. As long as you focus on this weakness and exert your strength, you will surely be able to conquer the real man. How do you exert your strength? Being cutesy, acting flirtatiously, showing weakness, showing softness, and being obedient. With these 5 actions, a real man will surely be under your control. When encountering a real man, women must never show rigidity, indulgence, toughness, willfulness, and viciousness. These characteristics cannot subdue a real man, because a real man is rigid inside, and if you use rigidity to control his rigidity, it will lead to conflict and both will get hurt. Only with softness can you overcome firmness. At the same time, in the face of a real man, women must not use words and expressions of grievance, blame, condemnation, and resentment. These characteristics will keep a real man 1,000 miles away, and a real man is free of all passive, negative, and pessimistic emotions. These words are something that a real man is unwilling to accept or bear. Treating a real man in the same way as treating an ordinary man would be extremely inappropriate. If you do not believe me, try it. 人生的又一个奥秘. Another mystery of life. Xiefeng. January 17, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. Someone was going to build a luxury villa somewhere, the drawings were ready, and the materials were ready. At that time, a geologist came and told him, I can tell you 100% for sure that in 4 years, there will be a big earthquake where you choose to build the villa and then all the buildings will be razed to the ground. Could you tell me, will the owner of the villa continue building it? Someone's child was admitted to a famous university in the United States, and the whole family celebrated. Then a fortune teller came and said, it's better for your child not to go to study in the United States, because in 4 years, on the day of his graduation, he will be involved in a car accident. I would like to ask, will this person still want to send his child to go to the university in the United States? Someone was going to invest 1 million yuan in a real estate business, when a stranger came and said, you'd better stop doing business in real estate. You will make 100 million in the first 10 years, but in the 11th year you will not only go bankrupt, but also be taken to prison and all your property will be confiscated. The question, is he still planning to get into the real estate business? When a person knows exactly that what he is doing will bring him misfortune in the near future, generally speaking, he will stop acting on it. The problem is that when a couple are about to conceive and give birth, they do not need to ask anyone. Everyone knows that the child they give birth to will surely die when he grows up. Even if they know that the child will surely die, people will still give birth to children. Throughout the history of human beings, the vast majority of people's lives will end in tragedy, and their lives will be spent in trouble, pain, anxiety, and sorrow. Even so, people will come to the world and have a try at it. They have all devoted themselves to the hard work and struggle in life with the fluke mentality of, I will live well. Generation after generation, they have been multiplying like this, which can be described as, in the Changjiang River, the waves behind drive those ahead, and no tears will come when you do not see the coffin. Why are you so irrational? The reason is that people do not know what will happen tomorrow, so they live with hope and anticipation. They can't help themselves but are pushed by their survival instinct and by the tide. There is no other way but to do so. This is the mystery. People enter the world to experience life. The process of life is a process of experience. Apart from this, these people have nothing to gain. Knowing this mystery, we will find that the geologist, the fortune teller, and the stranger mentioned at the beginning of the article did a bad thing. They should not tell the truth to the builder, should not tell the parents what will happen to their kid who will go to school in the United States 4 years later, should not tell the one who is going to become a real estate businessman what will happen in 10 years, because the truth deprives them of the process of experiencing life. Just imagine if you tell a newborn pig, when you grow up and you will be fattened, people will stab a knife into your heart to kill you and then they will eat you. Can this pig still have a happy and joyous life? It is cruel to tell the truth. It is more in line with human nature and natural law to let people live in a daze. Even if the truth is told, few people are willing to believe it. Sometimes lies are more compassionate than the truth. Live happily. Every day should be a happy day, and life experience is very important. 背西洋面朝阳. Will you go backwards to the sunset or face the rising sun? Xiefeng. November 27, 2022. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. Toward evening, feeling indisposed and listless, I drove my chariot to an ancient elevation. The setting sun looks glorious indeed, only it is so close to dusk. Since it is near dusk, the sun will set, and darkness will consume the earth. The red sun rises in the east with majestic momentum, and the first rays of the sun color the gown of the green mountain. Thousands of miles of mountains and rivers receive their charm from the sun, while the rain and dew lead the literary excellence for the ages. When facing the rising sun, always start the new day full of energy. Throw yourself into the embrace of the rising sun, and your future will be assured. Sunset industries will soon be eliminated. For example, with mobile phone cameras, who will make Kodak cameras and point-and-shoot cameras anymore? Who wants to make ox carts and carriages when there are cars? Who wants to buy a flashlight when you can have a mobile phone? Who wants to buy a city traffic map when you have mobile phone navigation? With the popularity of cars with an automatic transmission, who will make cars with a manual transmission? Who will hire workers on the assembly line since robots are now available? With more powerful social software, who will go to QQ? With 800G mobile phones, who will make 20G mobile phones? Yesterday, a lot of industries disappeared. Today, many enterprises have closed. Tomorrow, many people will lose their jobs. The sunset industry is on the verge of bankruptcy and close and entering the history museum. Do you feel sorry? There is no time for regrets or remorse or no chance to repent or hate. It is worthless and meaningless. When the Qing dynasty replaced the Ming dynasty, those patriots who opposed the Qing dynasty and tried to restore the Ming dynasty became synonymous with reactionary, and their ending was bound to be tragic. With the iPhone 13 Apple mobile phone, other mobile phones will gradually be eliminated by the mobile phone market. And with the Musk Starlink mobile phone, the iPhone 13 will also enter decline. It is an inevitability of the development of human society and an inevitability of history that old generations will be replaced by new ones, and the waves behind will push forward the waves ahead of them. When we stand on the top of the mountain in the Life-Genuine era and look down at all the activities in the world, we will find that many people's pursuits are blind, and they are desperately chasing the sunset, such as the men and women racking their brains and making real effort to get married and start a family. They are running into the darkness and are both pathetic and pitiful, while the Chanyuan Celestials who have already climbed to the peak will enjoy the beautiful scenery of the mountains and rivers, but they are still worrying and anxious about whether to plant radish or corn on their small piece of land at the foot of the mountain. With the second home model, who wants to save money to buy a house for themselves? Who wants to sharpen their brains and become a civil servant? Who wants to start a business for their own family? Who will engage in making social connections? With the 800 values for new era human beings, who would study law to become a lawyer or judge? Who still racks their brains to become an official? Who wants to be a soldier and die for his country? Who wants to join a political party or a church? In today's world, only Life-Genuine is a sunrise industry, which is breaking through the horizon and preparing to rise to illuminate the mountains and rivers, while all other activities are sunset industries. In the near future, entering the second home will be the equivalent to owning one of Musk's Starlink mobile phones, with all its power